One of the most outspoken, one of the best voices of this administration is Stephen Miller. And he was talking about deportations yesterday.
You want to hit 1 million deportations this year at least. You're at 139,000. Can you still hit 1 million this year?
Well, the rate of deportation is increasing every single day. Remember, we inherited a system that was completely shut down, that was completely broke. And now President Trump is working with the overwhelming backing and support of the American public to get that system operating at full speed and efficiency. And once we clear away some of these rogue district court injunctions, we'll be able to operate with an even greater degree of force and speed. And so I think we will vastly exceed that number, in addition to all of the self-deportations that are occurring and will continue to occur. And once we're able to begin applying these increasingly significant consequences financially and criminally for illegal aliens who choose to remain, we will see even faster and quicker voluntary departures from the United States. Bottom line is that the president is going to continue and expand and accelerate the effort to remove from our midst people who have no lawful right to be here, and we will do so without apology. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're done. Next, I'm not going to take any more from you people, okay?
I can't even stand to look at you, so I'm certainly not going to talk to you anymore. Beat it. Beat it. It's about time. I mean, nobody's borne down on this problem like President Trump has.
Right.
And it should have happened so long ago. It's been out of control for way too many years. I mean, when I first started in talk radio in Houston in 2001, they were always throwing out the number of illegals that were already in this country at 11 million. They're still saying it's that number when it's more like 30 or 40 million or more.
Yeah. I mean, then I think, they used that 11 million mark, which we did hear from time
all
to time.
The time.
During the Obama and Joe Biden administration.
Yep.
But then every once in a while you'd hear somebody say 20 million.
Yeah.
And so
and once in a while you'd hear somebody say 30 million.
Right. So it's at least that.
At least. Nobody knows the exact figure, but it's got to be at least 30 million.
It has to be.
I mean, when you've got 10 million people coming across the border.
You're admitting to.
That you're admitting to just with
we
Biden.
Found out that they didn't count all those numbers because of some of the illegals that they brought into the country under some special auspices plan that we didn't count.
Right.
It's just amazing.
Right. And then they fly them all over the country.
Right.
In the dark of night, under the cover of darkness, so that the residents of that city don't understand the fact that you're being invaded right now.
Yes,
by illegals who shouldn't be here, and we don't know anything about them. But here they are.
They would just drop them off.
Congratulations.
Here's your bag. Here's your card. Go ahead, get out of here.
Exactly. It's despicable what's been happening. So finally, something's being done about it. And Stephen Miller had more on deporting mothers and children. The mothers and children came up.
Is it the best use of the administration's resources to be going after moms of young kids? Basically?
Oh, my gosh.
Do you yourself have an opinion on the subject?
I'm more interested in yours.
Well, what percentage of let's just pick an even number of, say, 10 million illegal aliens. Let's say that Biden released, I think it's closer to 20 million. Let's say he released 10 million illegal aliens into the country over the last 4 years. What percentage do you think we should let stay here of those 10 million?
I'm not trying to do a game show.
No, but I'm saying, no. But,
you think that's the best use of
well, hold on. But is it your view that if a Democrat president releases 10, 15, 20 million illegals into the country, that they all then should get to stay forever and for all of life?
Stephen, I don't have a view about what Democratic presidents do. I'm asking what the Republican president
does. So you don't want to answer the question because you know the answer is obvious. Yes. Everyone that Biden let in has to go home. Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy thing to even ask. You think we should give administrative amnesty to some subset of the illegals that Biden... Here's how we're prioritizing it. ICE is going to continue to focus on raids against high-threat criminal aliens. We're going to use the entire force and power of the federal government to get them all home. Many will choose also to leave voluntarily and take advantage of the CBP Home app. But we are not going to ask taxpayers to subsidize the presence of a single illegal alien in this country.
Thank you.
Amen. Stephen needs to start traveling with a do person, though, so they can keep the people from walking behind him during those live shots, because I've had just about enough of that already.
I love this guy, though. He's fantastic.
Absolutely.
For him to put that reporter on the spot, who obviously has an opinion.
100%.
Oh, so
That's
great.
why he's asking the stupid question.
Yep.
Is it the best use of resources to deport mothers and their children?
And he throws it back in their face. Well, what percentage would you have us do?
Yeah, how many should we allow to stay here?
Okay.
How many?
Let's turn it around a little bit.
Right.
Oh, I don't have an opinion. Yeah, you don't have an opinion because you know the answer.
So great. I mean, and it's so true.
Oh.
Because the other day they were trying to make it out like we're deporting 2-year-old children.
Right.
We're deporting 2-year-olds. That was the headline.
Yeah, 2 and 4 and 7 or something, right? Were the kids that went home.
The answer was the mother is being deported because she's here illegally, and she's taking her children with her. Of course. It's ridiculous.
And they've even said that before. I mean, Homan has even talked about that before when these questions about, what about the children?
Well, they can take them.
They can go home.
They can take them home.
We're not stopping you with hurting the children.
In fact, we're giving them a free ride home with the mom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's perfect. Right? You don't have to pay for the trip. We're going to send you home.
Yeah, we got it. It's on
Congratulations. It's on us. And you're welcome. You're welcome.
Go ahead and pack that bag up over there, though, because we're leaving here in a couple minutes. We don't have a lot of time.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because what is the answer to it? You're supposed to, do we ask that question of American citizens who go to jail? Well, are you going to leave a child, the mother's 2-year-old child, to rot in the home by himself? No, but what the family does with the 2-year-old,
it's kind of up to them.
The mother's been arrested, so that's up to the family to figure out, not us.
And if the family, if there's no family, then obviously the state takes over. But we take care of the children.
Yeah, right, right. But nobody asked that question. How can you put that mother in jail? Well, because she committed crimes. That's how. So your thing is, and everybody's thing is, no one's above the law, right?
Right.
We're enforcing U.S. law. And the law says this person's going to jail. So you should have thought of that before you committed the crime, and then you wouldn't be going to jail, and you could stay home with your kids.
Just as someone who has past history, you don't think about that when you're committing the crime. You always think you're going to get away with it. So
is that right?
I'm just saying.
Okay,
yeah. I'm just pointing out the fact that
Thank you for that perspective.
When you're committing the crime, you're not worried about getting caught for committing the crime.
It's really excellent perspective on your part. Thank you, Jeffy. Because a lot of us just thought, well, you should have thought of that before you committed the crime, but you don't.
You don't.
Yeah. No matter what the crime is, you don't think of that first.
I mean, maybe you maybe should have. It hurts the whole perspective.
Bet. Yeah,
when you start thinking about what could possibly happen, then it hurts the criminal activity.
But then there's Governor JB Pritzker, who is calling for protests now because something's being done about the problems that we have in this country, and the Democrats can't stand it.
Oh, and this guy is
agonizing,
really agonizing.
In the times upon which history turns. Never before in my life have I called for mass protests.
You lost a little weight.
For mobilization, for disruption. But I am now.
Oh, yeah!
You.
Yeah! Woo! He's calling for mass protests.
JB.
Yes, protest, yeah. Good.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace.
No.
Oh. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
Wait, he's going to castrate Republicans? That's not right.
That's not.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no, I'm against castration of Republicans.
What about Democrats?
They must feel in their bones that when we survive this shameful episode of American history with our democracy intact,
we're not a
because
democracy,
we have no alternative but to do just that.
It's not a democracy.
That we will relegate their portraits to the museum halls reserved for tyrants and traitors.
Oh, that's good. You worked hard on that line, didn't you, JB?
People are completely out of control.
This guy.
Completely out of control.
I hope, and I shouldn't. it wouldn't surprise me that he's impeding some of our federal operations in his state.
He is.
And if that comes out, they should arrest him for that.
Yes, absolutely.
They'd arrest him for that. Let's put him in cuffs and perp walk him down.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I get the idea that you can legitimately say, well, we're not going to help you in your deportation process. And that even kind of irks me, but I get it. But if you're actually impeding, like the judge helping the illegal out the back door of the courtroom, you'd absolutely need to be arrested. And
no question.
And I sure hope you're not doing that, JB, because it'd be a shame,
wouldn't it,
to see you get arrested.
We'll get to Stephen Miller's comments about JB Pritzker's rant and raving there coming up in a second. We had JB Pritzker talking about how there should be protests in the streets. They're trying their darndest to create violence in this country. They're not going to be happy until they do create
castrations.
Yes, castrations, violence of all kind. So Stephen Miller responded to the Pritzker comments. So this should be fun.
Stephen, Illinois Governor Pritzker just called for mass protests and disruption, saying Republicans cannot know peace, while Trump's border crossings are down 95% and ICE is locking up 800 criminals. Is Pritzker inciting insurrection, and will DOJ take action?
Well, what I would say is that his comments, if nothing else, clearly could be construed as inciting violence. So President Trump survived 2 assassination attempts against his life.
Yep.
Of course, there's been many more credible threats against President Trump and his family and associates. We've, of course, seen the spate of left-wing domestic terrorism all across this country. By the way, the destruction of property sits directly adjacent to attacks on humans and physical attacks. In other words, once you tolerate and once you allow for attacks on property, you're just a step away from people throwing Molotov cocktails into people's homes.
Yep.
And you've even seen some, I think one example of a formerly prominent Washington Post journalist who seemed to be celebrating the murder of a healthcare CEO, right? Health insurance CEO.
That's right.
And that's the point we've reached in this country, where people are engaging in rhetoric and behavior that puts the lives of public servants in danger, puts the lives of conservative Americans in danger. And so that's the first thing I would say. And then, of course, secondly, right, just this war that Democrat governors and mayors are waging against federal law enforcement. I mean, this is nullificationist behavior. This is successionist behavior. Where they're saying they don't recognize the supremacy of federal law enforcement in terms of protecting the lives and livelihoods of American citizens against a foreign invasion. We've never seen anything like it. And, of course, the result of their conduct is that they're allowing illegal aliens to go free and rape and murder their own citizens. So I can't imagine having a leader in a city or a state that would privilege the well-being of illegal alien murderers over their own citizens, but that's where we are right now.
That is where we are right now.
Yes, it is.
And which is closer to an insurrection? Walking into the Capitol building that is opened for you by law enforcement officials.
I believe they were parading
and milling in the Capitol building.
Say walking. No, you downplay what they did.
Or openly defying the law enforcement trying to enforce law. I wonder, which one is worse? Which one is the bigger threat to the United States of America? I don't know. I'm stumped on that. Really just plain stumped.
I thought you would know the answer.
No, I don't. I can't figure it out.